Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say thank you to a couple different people, the senator from Fairfax City for bringing up the issue of education, getting our kids back in school, and the senator from Henrico, and even the senior senator from Fairfax County for the timeline of possibly getting our kids back in school. This is an issue that, gosh, I've been waiting to talk about. I've spent about 8 hours in the past 2 days discussing legalization of marijuana, and that's been an education for me. And I've spent more time than I ever wanted to listening to bickering from within ourselves and just amongst each other. So I am very pleased that we are finally talking about issues that are important to all Virginians, and that's the issue of getting our kids back in school. The senator from Fairfax City mentioned, looking to how other states and how other states have done it and how other states are back in school. And he mentioned some of the governors. And I do think it's some top-down leadership. And those of you who may have an audience with people who can make those decisions, I encourage you to continue to advocate for getting our kids back in person. But you don't have to look to other states to see how to do this safely. My children are fortunate to have been in person in school, 3 different schools since August. But I've seen how those schools have done it. They've adapted, they have spent money, they have changed. It's different. It looks different for the kids, different from the parents, but we've all adapted. And they've stayed in school. We've had a school nurse in each of my kids' school who've been in school, and those guys have been instrumental just in tracking and tracing. We had positive cases. The kids had to stay home those 2 weeks. But even those 2 weeks, and my kids were so upset about not being in school. The kids are really having a lot of just struggling mental health-wise, and that's what I worry about the most. I've heard from my mom friends, from neighbors, from just other people on the carpool line. We're all worried about just the mental health of our kids. It can't be underestimated. I know that we've each heard just sad stories of suicide rates increasing and anxiety and depression, and these are things that are going to have long-term consequences for our children. So making this issue a priority just cannot be understated. These kids are a voiceless group. We hear from constituents. They call us, they email us, they write on our social media pages. But our teenagers and our elementary, middle school students, these guys don't call us. How many phone calls and emails do we get from kids these days? Every once in a while, but just not often. They're a voiceless group that really need us to advocate for them. So again, the senator from Henrico mentioned some of the things that will be coming up in legislation, prioritizing the vaccines for our school teachers, administrators, staff. You'll hear me talk again and again about the concept of school nurses, just because I've seen it be instrumental in my own children's school. So I want to prioritize this issue. Let's continue these discussions about what's important to Virginians, what's important to parents, to students, to the future of our Commonwealth. Thank you very much.